Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is Three Questions Podcast, episode number 98. I actually haven't recorded a podcast since January 31st, mostly because of my own imposter syndrome and because I have been, dealing with some insecurities myself on podcasting. I've gotten some negative feedback um, from people in my life and dealing with some issues there, which has kept me from putting my voice out, which is interesting because one of my clients, Mark, who I'll introduce in a second, is dealing with some similar things and growing his business, putting his stuff out there, and asked me some very good questions on our coaching session. So I'm going to turn this into a live podcast, and this will be posted later for both Mark and I's rapport. Mark, why don't you introduce yourself to the world, community, and everything else?
What's up, everybody? My name is Mark, and I found Cameron on TikTok. I had been following him for quite some time, and I had a desire to hire him as a mentor for quite some time, and I'm really glad I took the plunge to do so. I currently have a social media fitness brand. I have a decent amount of followers across all platforms, and some of the questions that I wanted to speak about today, or actually have Cameron educate me and all of us on, are things relevant to content creation, such as how can I speak better on camera? How can I enter a flow state easier when I speak on camera or in person? How do I stay calm and grounded and relaxed in all other areas? Because I believe all of these three things tie into each other. And we also have some questions about attachment styles, limerence, things like that. And finally, another question about spiritual warfare as you continue to raise your vibration and the more spiritually evolved you get. So, all three of these questions, in my humble opinion, are extremely full circle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think that that's what CK Collective, when I created it, I started it in 2020. So this is coming up on 6 years. I've had to take some time off for various other professional endeavors. But really, my business, CK Collective, was founded on me going through a bad breakup and then building a business, working to bring other people
Yeah.
through challenges, both personal and professional. I've worked as a new business director for a long time in advertising and have made some professional changes, but I continue to be an entrepreneur in my own time because I feel the more that I work on a business, the more I'm able to understand myself and I'm able to grow a business and connect with other people. I think how we grow up, everyone deals with different challenges, different traumas, and me putting together tools, tactics, practices, and really just methods of my own creation and learning about those and improving on those over time. I've really made personal growth and development a core part of my being in order to become a better person. And the community that we've grown, it's awesome. I truly believe I have the best clients in the world. I'm not just saying that. But seeing people work on themselves and seeing people better their businesses and their brands so that they can help other people is one of my life's absolute greatest passions.
Mhm.
And I hope that comes across as authentic in my content. I try to do no bullshit approach. I don't think I'm the coolest guy or the best guy in any sort of category, but I'm very stubborn and I'm very tough. So like
Mhm.
you're not gonna beat me over a longer period of time. I will outwork you consistently over a long period of time.
Mhm.
I know that, and I say that pretentiously, because innately I don't think I have any core skills that are better than anyone else other than that grit, right?
Mhm.
So I'm very proud to be able to say that, but teaching that to other people to also empower them to go through their, personal challenges such as breakups and
Mhm.
building a business and then seeing them succeed is fucking awesome. I love it.
Mhm.
So I started Three Questions podcast essentially as a way to have conversations, a way for me to continue to practice my own voice, really get over my insecurities, which I
Mhm.
still deal with. I still have them. And I want to get more people on Three Questions podcast. Right now, it's just about a timing thing. I have a difficult time sitting down and trying to speak from a platform. I'm not better than anyone else. I think there's a lot of amazing podcasts out there. But I started TQP as a way to say, hey, one question, I'm going to answer 5 minutes each, and then we'll sort of go to it. But Mark, when you asked me a couple questions, I was like, damn, that would be a great podcast. So I want
Thank
this
you.
to be conversational in nature. I'll give you my
Mhm.
2 cents. I'll read the question. I'll give you a quick answer, and then I kind of want you to either poke and prod or give me your 2 cents on it. Ask a follow up. We're not going to keep this to 15 minutes. It can go way over, so don't worry about
Okay.
that. But
Mhm.
yeah. Mark, why don't you just tell people how they can listen to you, how they can find you? What are your handles? What's your
Mhm,
website? Give us all
mhm.
that.
Thank you. I'm excited to do this, and I'll do my best to go back and forth with you, as you are somebody I look up to, and I will try to keep up as best I can. Anyway, um, my social media on all platforms is Chaldean Fit, and that's Chaldean Fit, and it's a fitness brand that I started last year. My brother actually was the one whose idea it was, as he himself is pretty prolific on social media, and pretty much it's just a fitness coaching business where I do one-on-one coaching similar to this, but in the form of fitness, and I also sell a low ticket offer of a program, a do-it-yourself program, and I make all sorts of videos explaining fat loss, mindset, just pretty much my own little version of, helping people change their lives. And Cameron actually touched on a lot of points as well that lately have been clicking to me more and more. And I feel more aligned with them more and more. Like this deep sense of fulfillment that I'm gaining from seeing somebody improve their lives and shift into a better identity. I was actually moved into tears last night during a call, and I'm just glad it wasn't a video call. It was a voice call, and I'm also learning that this is a character development arc for myself as well. And I'm continuing to see it that way. Like talking on camera was very hard for me. Like in the beginning, I
Yeah.
didn't, I couldn't get the words out. Like I felt like I had fried my brain from like psychedelics or something. Like I couldn't, I just couldn't do it, But as
Yeah.
I actually work with Cameron and get better from the things that I ask him, I'm learning how easy it is when you just let go. And it's one thing to say that, but how to do it, there's many modalities and techniques that Cameron has shared with me. And that could be for another video, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's Mark. That's great insight, man. I think
thank you.
since I've been working on CK Collective, I've really only been making content for about 2 years, and throughout that process, there's been times where I have and I haven't, and I've certainly received, hate, either personally or professionally, from family, from coworkers, and or doubts, I'll say. I've had friends troll me and stuff like that, right? What are you, an influencer now?
Mm,
And it's one of the things where like everyone's making content. And I shifted my mindset from being a quote unquote influencer, which I hate, to just being like, hey, I'm making a documentary, right? I'm leaving pieces of my story and my path
mm,
behind, right? Like that's whether it's legendary or it's average or it helps one person. I started this business with one mindset, one thing in mind. And that
mm,
was is if I could help one person, then all of that would be worth it, right? All of the hate,
mm.
all of the derogatory comments, all the mean messages. There was one period, and I was big on not blocking anybody. There was one period where I just had some guy sending me messages on TikTok every time I posted. He was leaving negative comments and sending me messages. He was the first guy that I blocked, right?
That's crazy.
And I was like, why are you taking this much time to hate on another human being, right?
Right.
But throughout this process, I've seen hundreds of people either get through relationships efficiently, learn things faster, improve, start a business, and really just like move on with their life, which is the purpose of mentorship or
Yeah.
coaching, whatever aspect that is.
Hmm.
But helping someone just move into it. I don't need to work with someone forever.
Hmm.
Um, and
Wow.
I wonder if that's sort of the same thing with your business. Like, do you get the fulfillment of just being able to help another human being, at least one? I'm
Yes.
sure you've helped hundreds too, but you
Yes.
get to help people and see people succeed, right?
Absolutely. Especially after this past week, I decided to just do a free coaching calls for everybody, like one
Yeah.
coaching call per person. And I feel
Mm,
like I gained a deeper sense of empathy, which I got from your videos again. Deeper sense of empathy, learning how to like hold space for people, not just provide solutions. There's a time and place for both, but I'm
yeah.
learning how to recognize when to do both. And there was a lot of times last week where I was so tired right before a call, And then after the call, I felt like I just drank coffee or something. Like
Yeah.
I felt just so like especially yesterday, like the whole drive to the gym after my last call, I was just
Mhm.
laughing like an idiot. I was
Yeah.
just like super happy, you know? So this
Yeah.
stuff is it's a blessing to be in a position like this, which you can only get to by being humble and vulnerable in the first place, putting all your own stuff out there for the whole world to see and risking hate. You have to, that's the only way you can even get to this position, which is crazy. Something you taught me on our call last week. You can't get something for nothing, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think you nailed it, dude. Being able to hold space for people and creating a deeper sense of empathy for yourself.
mm,
I mean, if that's the win for coaching other people, awesome. And you
mm,
have a substantial following. You said 33,000 people on TikTok, 18,000 on Instagram. Like
thank you.
everyone tries to figure out the algorithm. And I'm like, dude, just post consistently. Make a video,
Mm,
make a slide post. You get 20 likes, you get 10 likes, you get eight, right?
mm,
Sometimes I'll make a video, I think it's dog shit, and it goes viral, 10,000
right.
views or whatever, like 50,000 views, and I'm like, oh, whatever. Other times I'm super jazzed up to teach something and it's like 400 views, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it's a process that you learn. Like if you want to grow
Retarded.
on social media, you have to add to the algorithm because the algorithm helps people that help it learn, and then it feeds the content to the right people. And
Mm,
so many clients have, I had one today, an intro call this morning, and she was from South Africa. And she was like, I watch so much social media and I watched one of your videos and was like, I need to talk to this guy because your no nonsense BS approach was like
mm,
awesome. And that's what works for me, right? That's kind of how I review it. Like I said,
mm,
I don't think I'm the greatest coach or mentor out there. I think there's amazing ones, but you need to find the right one for you at the right time.
mm,
And there's a lot of people that are constantly seeking this. I'm seeking my next kind of business mentor probably in the next year or so to help me kind of really scale a couple different endeavors that I have, but I want them to be spiritually grounded uh,
yep.
because my faith is important to me as well. So I'll find the right person, and as will you, right? So you asked me a couple questions here. We're working on both personal and business stuff, so let's kind of get
Mm,
into it. I don't need to track the time since we got plenty of it. But
okay.
let's hop into question number one. So you wrote, Mark, how to avoid limerence. Is there something we can do in our own vibration to avoid or dissolve it? So my initial question to you is, how would you define limerence? What is that to you?
Me personally, as in Mark,
Yeah.
you know, over the years, I I have learned that I struggle with applying a sense of like destiny to relationships when they break, when they end. And I start to, that actually starts to be my source of limerence. And obviously, most of us can agree that limerence is some form of obsession, some form of an inability to let go of somebody. And mine came from an unhealthy desire to like find my twin flame or the right person or the soulmate and stuff like that. And I have an insane pattern recognition skill, which is a blessing and a curse in this situation, actually, because I'm finding all these reasons why we shouldn't have broken up and why we should need to get back together and why we should and should and should. And one of the first things you told me in our very first call together was whether it's a twin flame, a soulmate, or a trauma bond, it doesn't matter because it's consuming all of your mental bandwidth. And that's the problem with limerence. When you have such an obsession with somebody to the point that you're unable to operate in other areas of your life efficiently because you just can't, you're just struggling with so much grief and there's another aspect to it, denial, you know? And it's funny, like I'm the one who well, one of them took me 2 years to grow up, 2 years to get over her. I'm the one that broke up with her. And I learned now, looking back 7 years ago, that that was absolutely a trauma bond, you know? So I think, is there something we can do in our own vibration to avoid or dissolve it? Me personally, I absolutely believe in meditation, having just returned to it about a month ago. And this is making almost all of my thought impulses arrive as a visitor in my mind, not a hijacker in my mind. When you are lower in vibration and lower in awareness, you are synonymous with your primal urges. Your urge to reach out to them, your urge to get mad, your urge to like react and defend yourself and feel like a victim. You are those things. But when you meditate, you literally relax your nervous system, which is a physical explanation of what's going on spiritually and energetically.
Mhm.
And I just see those impulses now as like a friendly suggestion, like, hey, why don't you yell at this person? But now I have space to say, because that's bad. I don't want to yell at them. Whereas before, you would just, it would be hard, right? And I believe, to answer my own question, that is at least one thing we can do in our own vibration to avoid or dissolve it. Because you start to see the bigger picture. Like, there's no need to be obsessed with one person and make an idol over somebody. And damn, is it hard to believe that in the moment, right? During the grieving process. But now I'm in a much better position to look at things clearer. So yeah.
It's it's good. I'm looking at limerence and there's so many different definitions of it. One of
Hmm.
the how I will define it is basically unreturned love. So like think about a one-way street. One-way streets are you're giving, you want something, you're going something, but it's simply not being returned. So I look at limerence as being like another term
Oh.
of unrequited love. And that's probably honestly how I would define it. It means that it's love for something or want or a pain or longing for something that's simply not being returned. So being in limerence simply is like being stuck on a one way and you're trying to turn, you're turning around, but you can't. It's like
Mm.
being at the airport and you're on that fast track. It's like, oh shit, there's no exit except the end of this thing.
Mm.
Um, and I want you to think about limerence in the way that it's not bad, right? But it's one way love that simply is a dead end. That love is not being returned and it's wanted in a pain and a longing for something or someone to come back. Really, where I see people kind of wake up and snap out of it, especially after being dumped or the end of a relationship, is like they're not learning the lesson. And so, is there a way to dissolve it in your own vibration? It's to understand that you're giving to the point where something is not being returned. So, how do you turn that
Wow.
around? You have to simply step off or get to the end of it and say, okay, well, how do I give that love back to myself? How do I recycle that love for someone else back into myself? You need a conduit. So, how do you dissolve it? The easy answer would be self-love. And this was painfully obvious to me the other day, probably a good thing. I feel like I've been pretty drained mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm dealing with a couple injuries. My mindset has been derailed from some other issues that I feel like are not going to be solved for the next year or two. Right?
Mhm.
I need to spend some time away from my family for about 6 months coming up, and that's going to be tough. Right? I got to go to another country for a while, and I am dealing with, not feeling like things are in the best space here. And I feel like time is just kind of sinking down. And because of that, there's been a lot of resistance in my energy, and it's causing my body to physically manifest in injuries. I'm big on
Mhm.
spiritual anatomy. So, how do I recycle that? How do I enjoy my time? How do I be present more often? Well, I kind of hit this thing Saturday. My girlfriend was out and she was had an event all day with her friends, birthday party. And I was like, how can I give myself self-love? What can I do? I ended up going to a playoff hockey game, right? I paid like 350 bucks to go, bought a jersey for 200 bucks, and like I had a great time, right?
Mhm.
And I made friends with everybody. I cannot even tell you the last time I was at an event with, I don't know,
Wow.
30, 40,000 people. I didn't see one person on their phone during this game.
Wow.
Okay. How present everybody was, how locked in, how synonymous the crowd was, waving towels, everything. It was
Wow.
amazing. I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. And I felt
Wow.
my energy just soar, like immediately, like everything came back. And I was leveraging the energy of the crowd, the stadium, the game. They won in overtime, 3-2. And it was fantastic, right? I love
Mhm.
playoff hockey. I don't even watch sports anymore,
Mhm.
but I love going to a live game, and I felt my energy just absolute resurgence of like,
Mhm.
oh, this is what it's like to live again. So
Mhm.
to answer your question about limerence, my question to you would be, what makes you feel alive? Because
Wow.
I 110% have been resistant to energy and my creativity's been down. And I've just been in this weird, like dark, exhausting place. But as soon as I put myself into a situation where I was able to leverage the crowd and the energy of someone else, it was like, boom, it was back, you know? So what makes you feel alive and why aren't you doing that? Working on your business is great. Growing your social media is great. Making money is great. Getting fit is great. But what
Mhm.
really makes you feel alive, Mark?
I would have to say playing piano. Playing piano. Yeah, like if I had to choose just one of those things. But I'm also so empathetic to people, bro. Like I would coach people for free. Well,
Okay.
and I did. But
Yeah.
I just mean like the thing that you just said about leveraging the energy of someone else, that is like so you put into words what I've been experiencing all week. All I knew was that I'm tired. I got on a call with these people. Towards the end of the call, I'm like on fire. And then
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was leveraging the energy of someone else. But what makes you feel alive and why aren't you doing it? Damn.
Got to answer that, right? Like for me, I know I love hockey. I've never been to a playoff game, but I love going to watch live hockey, just the sound, the cool air. It's just like it was awesome. There's one concept of being an energy vampire, okay?
Mm,
And I am very conscious of doing that. We all do it. I do it to people sometimes where I'm like leeching their energy or I feel like I'm dragging them down. When that happens, I have to isolate myself until I am able to like bring the light back to the room, right?
wow.
And so I like to be a radiator, not a drain.
Hmm.
And if I feel like I'm being a drain on people, I will pull myself away from that person and really go to my cave. Like for men that I coach, I say, you got to go to the cave. If you feel like a bear, you're irritable, you're hungry, life isn't the way you want it to be, isolate yourself. Go sit in a dark room for an hour with your thoughts, your demons, and be like, okay, the magic I'm seeking is in the work I'm avoiding, but really what makes me feel alive? How can I bring energy to my work, right? Because if you bring stale, bad energy to your work, guess what? It's going to resonate. If I'm
Hmm.
feeling amped up, jacked up, I'm going to the gym, feeling fit, I'm eating good, I'm meditating, I'm journaling, I'm doing all the things for me, guess what? My content gets better.
Hmm.
If I fill my cup up first, my content gets better. Right? If
Hmm.
I get up and I work for an hour or two before I have to go to work and do that, and I feel like I made progress, I helped somebody, I created something, I made a post, created a new product, sent out an email blast, emailed 10 businesses, whatever, made a couple videos, boom, that's out there. That is working for me in the hours that I need to go and do something else. Okay. If
Wow.
I'm bringing still energy to my business, dude, I got to go focus on me. If I need to disappear for a couple days or a week or two, or 4 months in the case of this podcast so that I can come back with more energy, I'm going to do that, right?
Wow.
Being able to create content is always going to be there, but if I'm not bringing the light to my business, guess it's not going to reach others. That's it.
Wow.
So find the thing that makes you feel alive. Is if it's playing piano, awesome. But that limerence, you're giving
Hmm.
your light to a black hole. That's
Right.
not being returned, that's being sucked, right?
Right. Right.
So how do you turn limerence around? How do you dissolve it? Find a way to give your light and bring your light to people that actually want it and need it.
Hmm.
Okay. You're a lighthouse. You're not going to attract every single ship.
Hmm.
Okay. But show them that, hey, there's a light here, right? There's safe passage. There's rocks here, whatever it is. That's the point of lighthouses, right? To steer ships appropriately,
Right.
things that can destroy them. So be that light that helps other people. Okay.
Right.
That's how you dissolve limerence and raise your own vibration.
I agree.
Yeah. Good point there. Let's
Yeah.
hop to question number two as well, because this
Okay.
was a good one. How do you speak better on camera? How do you enter a flow state easier when you speak? How do you stay calm and relaxed and grounded? Well, that one's about dating, but
Yeah.
I think speaking on camera and dating is synonymous. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
let's answer the dating part of that.
Okay.
Anytime that I was dating, I asked questions. It was an interview for them, right?
You ask questions?
I ask questions. On a date, I'm the employer. I'm trying to employ you. I'm going to ask you questions. And I
Hmm.
completely switch my mind frame, right?
Hmm.
Same thing on camera. Whether you're coaching or mentoring people, guess what? People want to be asked questions. People want to talk. What's the best sound in the world to someone?
Hearing their own voice talk.
Boom.
Yeah. Crazy, right? And
Why?
I don't know why. Is it narcissism? I think people just have a lot of stuff sitting in. Like they have a lot of stuff that they just need to get off their chest and they're not even aware of it. So I believe that we are a blessing to people by allowing them that opportunity to get it off their chest. And then what's crazy is they end up liking you more and they don't even know why,
Yeah. Right.
which is crazy.
Yeah. So on dates with chicks, I would ask them questions. Eventually, if they're wise, they're going to start asking you questions, and you can kind of give them, you got to play the aura, the little bit, mysterious kind of thing.
Mm,
But I would just ask girls a ton of questions. I would get them to invest in me, right? Helps if you're tall, dark, and handsome, sure. But like when you
hmm
ask questions, guess what? They're hearing themselves talk. People like the sound of their own
hmm
voice. They're going to reflect that back on you. Okay.
hmm
You don't need, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, anytime I've done a date like that, where I ask a lot of questions, they're usually very successful. But like, you hear a lot of red pill or just like masculine dating advice, like in the Western, whatever. They say the exact opposite, where they say make observations and make cheeky comments rather than make questions. And I'm sure there's a time and place for those too, but
Yeah.
like they want you to turn into some like I don't know, like just like a clown. I believe that asking questions and making the girl feel emotionally safe
Mhm.
and talk a lot and to get her in a flow state, I believe that has resulted in better dates for myself. And you also can attest to that based on what you just said. So
Correct.
crazy.
Correct. I would say that's always a good thing, but knowing how to be cheeky and make
Hmm
comments, but also ask really good questions.
hmm
Okay, number one, getting to a date with a girl in the modern day and age is very difficult because I've talked with so many women. They have hundreds of matches on these dating
Yeah.
apps.
Yeah,
So
they do.
if you're lucky enough to meet a chick in the wild, get her number, then you need a text. I think texting is really for planning the date. And then once you plan the date, you have good masculine leadership, you dress well, you're looking nice, you're feeling good. Show up to that date. Be very like be a gentleman. Be Bruce Wayne, be James Bond. Be
Hmm
cheeky if you need to, right? If they're feeling it, but have
hmm
enough of a playful banner that you can ask them questions, and really get to know them because there's a lot of women that aren't feeling seen and heard. Women
hmm
have a plethora of shitty dating experiences out there and they
hmm
want good, solid men. However, good, solid
Wow.
men require going through this really emotional evisceration process of being able to rebuild yourself once, twice, or even three times to the point
Yeah.
where you've had your heart ripped out. You know what that feels like. You're not being avoidant, you're not being emotionally unavailable, but you're saying, hey, yeah, I've been through some experiences and knowing what I want now, this is what it looks like. And then being able to lead them and sort of guide them there in a partnership, right? The
Right.
courtship never ends. I think relationship ends largely because people, men especially, stop courting their women,
hmm
stop taking them out on dates. The things that we did in order to get
Yeah.
into that relationship, we stopped doing over time because guess what?
Right.
Couches are comfortable and Netflix is awesome, right? We're
Right.
going to do those things and you get in that habit. And then all of a sudden you have a roommate instead of, a
Right.
girlfriend. So you have to consistently treat them in that manner. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, it actually clicks for me even more because that ties into fitness as well. I
Mhm.
always tell people when I say, why did you lose weight and gain weight in the past, like before working with me or whatever?
Yeah.
Like they tell me like, okay, oh, I stopped doing the things that led me to losing weight in the first place. And and I believe that goes hand in hand with dating. And it's crazy because I can't imagine myself ever doing that in dating. Like I find it amazing to like after a long day of work, you go and take your girl out to like Korean barbecue, and then
Mhm.
you just listen to her yap. Like, give me
Yeah.
to stop talking. I never understood that. Like because I hear girls' complaints too about the way a lot of guys are, and
Yeah.
that sucks. Like, I hope they stop running into guys like that because that's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating to hear. Really, I started CK Collective, and I primarily worked with men for the first couple of years, and then I started taking on female clients because the stuff I was trying to teach the men, women were curious to learn as well. And with
Mm,
my content, I don't claim to be able to speak for women or on behalf of women.
mhm,
Uh, and I get haters from women sometimes being like, "Oh, it's not like this," blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay, well, this is for a client, and I'm teaching my client this, right?" So. I will take into account both parties, but with women, they have a ton of options. And what I also see with men as they're going through breakups or relationships is men often say, "Well, my girlfriend is avoidant. when we talk about
Right.
attachment styles. Like everyone is throwing around that term. She's a dismissive avoidant. She's a fearful avoidant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because women are terrified largely of men, or they're terrified of opening themselves up and being vulnerable to men because men aren't learning the mechanics of attraction. So
Mm-hmm.
when I hear someone say, oh, well, she's an avoidant, I'll say, well, how are you building attraction?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they go, well, what do you mean? And I say, how did you get her to fall in love with you? Why do you think she fell out of love? Where did you fail?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I made her all these promises and I didn't follow through. Well, I wasn't doing this. Well, I put on weight. Well, I got fired. Well, I came home angry all the time. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, so really she's not avoiding you. She's not an avoidant, but really you broke all of these promises, all of these rules. So attraction fell and now she's avoiding you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of trying to get her back, get her to stop being avoidant, which is what I see men try to do all the time. How do I get my girlfriend to not be avoidant? I'm like, well, you're not increasing attraction. She's going to avoid you
Wow.
if you're not increasing attraction. Well, how do I show her that I'm attracted to you? Well, she broke up with you. So, like, leave her alone. Give her the gift of missing you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what if she moves on? Okay. She's going to move on when she's no longer attracted to you. Right now, she's broken up with you. I think breakups are
Wow.
always a test of emotional strength. Hey, he wasn't the guy who I thought he was. He wasn't the guy he promised himself to be. Why don't you go work on yourself? Give yourself 30, 60, 90 days, right? At a minimum to say, I'm going to look in the mirror. I failed in these ways. I've learned these lessons. I'm going to rebuild these things for me. And
Mm-hmm.
during that process, women will typically rethink revisiting that relationship multiple times because I hear them as clients when they talk about this. Well,
Wow.
should I contact him? Well, he hasn't contacted me. Well, do you want him to contact you? No. Okay. Well, don't contact him then. So you're sure, right? I swear, I get these questions all the time.
What?
Right?
You said women are saying that?
Women will say that all the time.
Why? Why are you doing this, women? Oh
Yeah.
man.
I tell them the same thing. I said, well, do you want him to contact you? No, but it would be nice if he did because then I would know he still
Mm.
wants me. And if he still wants me, then I might reconsider thinking about getting back with him. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this process is so convoluted, right? Ipso facto, women will break up, but during that process of them
Mm-hmm.
sort of prepping their friends and family of being away from you, the breakup is the last thing that women will do. It
Yep.
will go away. And for 30, 60 days, they're gonna, redo their hair, get a whole new wardrobe, plan a bunch of experiences, plan a bunch of trips, so they can sort of get their emotional foundation back and learn to be what it's like on their own. And in that process, they're just looking for different things that make them feel. Okay. And so different
Mm.
things that make them feel, the biggest thing that will make them feel will be the absence of you if a man is doing all the things right.
Wow.
If the breakup was severe enough and they fully decided to move on, there's really nothing you can do besides no contact. But if the breakup is a period where they're just unsure of you and need some time to themselves, which most often it is, women won't move on for about 3 to 6 months, even after a couple year relationship, right?
Wow.
They may go out on 1 or 2 dates. In rare cases, women will have someone in mind that they want to quote unquote monkey branch to, and they may go on a couple dates with someone else just to see how that date makes them feel.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, that date or those dates make them miss you more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the guy is being too anxious because his own attachment style after being dumped
Yeah.
makes them be like, hey, what are you doing? Who are you with? I saw this Instagram story, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
please come back. If they start begging, you're just going to push that woman away. It doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? So that's why no contact is really for you to break your own attachment style of being anxious back to being secure. That way you can facilitate new communication if and when they are ready to communicate with you. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
One of the things you mentioned was that one thing that women are like women when they break up, when they go through a breakup, they're looking for many different things that make them feel. And you said the absence of you will make her feel the most. Do you
Yep.
believe this to be on an energetic level as well as
Absolutely.
whatever else it is? Okay, so this is like changing the energy you're broadcasting to her and the whole field then, right? When you go on
Yeah.
no contact, rebuild yourself. Do you feel like the girl can subconsciously feel like when something has shifted in you for the better? Like, okay,
100%.
he's not attached to me anymore and stuff like that. Like, there's not like that's so crazy. Like that is, I want to just say if I could, can I give a piece of advice to the
Yeah.
guys watching this? Yeah,
Yeah.
look, guys, I can't tell you how many times I have had urges to reach out to girls that I've broken. And it's funny, I'm usually the one that breaks up with them, but I've been broken up with of course. But what I'm saying is, anytime you get this urge to reach out to them or double text them or whatever it is, deny that urge. And it gets easier to deny that urge when you meditate more. But really, 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 really deny that urge. You can feel whatever you want internally, but please, the moment you do that stuff, you really are letting her know through your behavior that you're not okay without her. And even if you aren't okay without her, at least in the time being, do not show that. Do what Cameron is saying, focus on yourself. It's like detoxing from a drug. It's incredibly hard in the beginning. There is a literal withdrawal process. Over time, your brain fixes itself and you become better. You maybe cannot see that now logically or even emotionally, but if you just follow the process, give yourself time, you will transition to a point where you can perceive these things vibrationally, psychologically, the whole thing. So time is the answer.
Yep.
Thank you. Yep.
Yep, I completely agree. I think that there are cases where, like, if a guy really did something and fucked up, and I will coach men through this, I'll say, dude, you can break no contact. Like, she left because you did something, and guys will typically beg, right? You go through the 5 stages of grief cycle, which is denial, bargaining, depression, anger, and then acceptance. Typically, guys will beg, please don't go, come back, blah, blah, blah. But what guys don't do is, and I teach them this, I say, okay, give me a call if you change your mind, move right
Mhm.
to acceptance, right? Because when you agree with the breakup, that gives them a psychological urge to be like, oh shit, did he want this? Did he actually want this more than me? Is this a test? And getting inside a woman's head in that case is good if you both go and do the work and come back and have healthy communication. You never want to manipulate or gaslight someone into thinking that you're just simply okay with the breakup, but stating your intentions should always be done once. Hey, look, okay, you want to split up? I want to be together. I understand I did X, Y, and Z. Give me a call if you change your minds. I'm open to it, right? Boom. And then I think most people should take 90 days to facilitate being on their own.
Mhm.
Work on your nervous system, get back to being healthy, good food, good sleep, meditate, good habits, journaling, reading a lot of books. Slowly incorporate new experiences that help you realize what it's like to live again and get back to a point where you're like, okay, I feel good. I feel comfortable in myself. I'm moving and grooving again. Maybe not as fast as you were, but you don't need to go 110 miles an hour because that's where most of the crashes happen in a relationship. Okay. You
Yeah.
thinking everything's fine. It's actually not. It's a different sort of thing. What I'll say as well is dating and content are one and the same. I think content creators, influencers, back to your point, when you
Mhm.
are creating content and working on your business, you get comfortable in front of camera or coaching and working with people, makes your dating life much better, right? You can
Wow.
go and be in environments, you're networking, you have something else that is grounding you. Okay. So having a business, being an entrepreneur, not just having a career or working in a profession, and that's the only thing that you have going on. But as you become more social, develop a network, like you have the confidence that, hey, I'm leading a community, I'm spearheading this project on my own. Like it's very grounding for a man to have another project, a mission, a purpose. That's very attractive to women as well. So I think everybody should be an entrepreneur. Everyone is creative. Not
Mhm.
everyone leverages that creativity. So you working on something, having something on the side where you know people want what you're putting out there and offering, that is
Mhm.
also very empowering and makes you a much better man to date, right? From the female perspective. I hear that all the
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Sick.
have a lot to work on as a man on my own self and my own journey, but I mean, I have noticed that social situations are a lot clearer and easier and they flow better as I've improved recently in my own camera speaking abilities. The only
Yeah.
thing that I'm worried about is when I do find a girl now, I'm anxious in how I can fit her in my busy schedule without getting afraid that she's gonna go away. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of on the opposite spectrum now. It's like before, well, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but as I continue to get busier and busier and busier, I'm not sure how well we'll fit her in. But I guess that goes into the question number three. You know, does each new stage of spiritual development come with its own set of new problems? So I'm sure that is probably a bridge to cross when we get there. I don't need to worry about it right now, you know?
Yeah, that is a great question. Let me read that again. So question number three, do you face more or harder spiritual warfare the more you raise your vibration and more spiritually evolved you become? Essentially, does each new stage of spiritual development come with its own set of problems or less problems?
Mhm.
Great question.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. I've been doing this for 6 years and I've grown a lot as a man, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, academically, financially, and every new level that I get to, it is like the next set of problems that I haven't accomplished, right? As I've grown my business, as I've grown better as a man, it is like I'm gonna swear, like every time I get to a new plateau, I am like, fuck, dude, right? Like
Yeah.
the problems that I have now, I don't think I could have facilitated handling 5 or 6 years ago, for sure.
Hmm.
Much more equipped to solve them. I will solve them, but seemingly it appears more challenging because they're almost faster paced or just more visceral, right? And it's designed to strengthen me. Okay. As I go to church, and I remember as a kid, dude, I prayed to God all the time. I said, make me tough, make me wise, make me strong. I just wanted to be stronger. And all God gave me for the past 2 or 3 decades has been,
Yeah.
trials,
Hard stuff.
challenges, tribulations. And I am just like, there's times where I am absolutely exhausted and I'm stepping
Yeah.
out of it, but the light at the end of the tunnel that I can see is awesome because guess what? 5 or 6 years ago, I wanted to be here, right? I
Right.
wanted to be in a healthy relationship. I wanted to be, financially successful in my 30s. I wanted to be what I'm doing professionally. And it's like here I am. And the results of that are not the fulfillment that I was seeking 5 or 6 years ago. You know what I
Wow.
mean? The part that I'm grateful for is the consistency of continuing that process that got me here.
Wow.
That was the real gift, and it's incredibly frustrating to have that, but the gratitude for the process was the real gift. Continuing the process of going through the challenges piece by piece, whether it was one thing or solving one problem or getting this to the next level, or losing friends or losing rapport from a professional thing because of other things that I did. I'll go more into that privately with you, but like
Sure.
it was it was challenging and it continues to be, right? Going through breakups and ending of relationships, but continuing to build the business, continuing to work with people, continuing to put content out there, even if it was hurtful to friends or family or coworkers. Like I'm not putting people on blast, but me sharing my voice has brought in more than I probably could have handled 5 or 6 years ago. But I continue to do that because the light that this is given to people in the community is the thing that keeps me going. That light is greater than the
Wow.
darkness that gets thrown my way sometimes. Um, and
Wow.
I want that to be helpful for you. Does that make
Wow.
sense?
Yes, the light you get from your business is greater than the darkness that you could return to, right?
Yeah,
Something like that?
yeah, and it's not that's not throwing shade at any of the people in my life for listening to this, but
Hmm.
there are times where I do take things very personally, and even though I may not let it be known at that time or in that place, I tend to sort of hold on to those things.
Yep, yep.
But the
Me too.
continuation of my business, I don't know what the end result is, but I know that this process brings me more fulfillment and self-love and self-understanding to be able to share with other people. And then seeing them win or them succeed is the greatest thing in my life.
That's alchemy.
Yeah.
That's literally alchemy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Taking the pain that you experience in your own personal life and
Mhm.
transmuting it into just love for your business, for your clients, for the whole world is something I've just literally been made aware of in my own life.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I have to be careful what I say lately because
Mhm.
the other day I was like at the gym and I was like super hyped. We have these racquetball courts that nobody ever goes in. I can just shut the door and like yell or talk if I want to. And I was
Yeah.
just so hyped. I was like, hell yeah, I'm ready for any spiritual battle you give me because I have the coping strategies now. Then I was like, wait a minute. What did I just do? And then I
Yeah.
saw literally 5 minutes later, I saw my ex from 7 years ago in the gym, and I haven't seen her in God knows how long. And this was the ex that took me 2 years to get over. So I was just thinking about it, like it's truly poetic well, you need to be careful what you ask for, but also be okay with the fact that that problem is coming towards you because that truly is an opportunity for growth. And you
Yeah.
cannot perceive it that way unless you work on your nervous system to
Mhm.
make it easier for you to reframe things positively. And what happened? I still had a good workout. I mean, I may have glanced at her. I thought to myself, wow, that's me from another chapter. This is me now. And I just kept it pushing, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Boom. Right there, dude. Like you
phenomenal.
you just answered your own question. You went into a room, was like, I'm ready for anything. And God was like, cool, here's your ex that it took you 2 years to get over. You're like, fuck, dude, right? That's, you just
Yeah,
answered your own question. Like, that's
yeah,
110%. Like, God will give you the
yeah,
strangest challenges as soon as you say you're ready. And you're like, well, I wasn't ready for that, you know?
yeah. It
Um,
was okay though. It was okay. I saw her again after that at the gym. So I think we just go to the same gym. But
yeah,
I mean, I think the fear of the unknown is the biggest thing. Like fear of you don't know how you'll handle the situation,
yeah.
right? And now that I've done it, it's super simple. It's chill. Everything's
Totally.
fine, you know?
Yeah. It's funny how that works, man. It's just, it's one of the things where expect challenges, expect the unknown. But yeah, every opportunity is a new path for growth. And dude, that is the most fucking frustrating thing in the world.
Mm,
Is like you being in the middle of a situation, but being a spiritually attuned or spiritually evolved person,
mm,
and you being like, fuck, this growth sucks. Like you knowing it is awesome. You resisting it is not going to help that thing sort of alleviate itself. The
mm,
situation I was referring to, it's every day I'm like, fuck, this is an opportunity for growth, but I don't like it. It's like reopening a wound every single day. Or every time that
wow.
I get hated for a podcast or something like that. And it's the most challenging thing, but a couple years of this is going to be beneficial for the rest of my life, right? So the prize of the consistency for decades to come will be worth the pain that I'm going through now. We all like to choose challenges where we know the time frame and there's the definitive end and there's a process to see it. Sometimes it's going through the shit, right? My dad once told me, he said, hey, a lot of heroes that we watch in movies and comic books are great, but the real heroes are the people that get up in the darkness, go and do what they don't want to do, and still come home at the end of the day knowing that they have to do the same thing again tomorrow.
Wow.
It's like,
Courage.
yeah. So that was one of the best things I've ever heard.
Wow.
But hopefully that makes sense. But yeah,
Most of what you say does. I hope you know that.
I try, man. Sometimes
Hmm.
I'll tell you this too.
Hmm.
Towards the end of my second relationship, I had a girlfriend once told me in the middle of we were on a date and I was asking her questions and she didn't answer something. So I answered. I was like, well, I would do this, blah, blah, blah. And then she looked at me deadpan and goes, you talk too much. And I was like, wow, I almost left that date not too long after that relationship ended because I kind
Hmm.
of knew it at that point. But I was like, damn.
Wait, can you
Um,
elaborate on what you just said? You did what now?
that relationship ended shortly after that. Kind of knew it
Oh,
was dead in the water at that point. And I remember my first relationship too. I had just gotten laid off from my job. We were about 2 or 3 months after the breakup, and we were still hanging out sparingly, but the relationship wasn't going to get put back together at that point. And she was like, what are you going to do since you got laid off? And I told her this idea for this business, right? I was like, I think I can make, 5 or 10K per month if I just build my own thing and do this. And I remember her, she was like, there's no way you can do that, right?
damn.
And so, like, both those first two relationships, I'll never forget, were very doubtful of me being able to do this.
Hmm.
And that's also been a big motivation for me. It's like,
Wow.
look for the people that discount you. Okay. Because usually when people say things like that, they're not lying. People
Hmm.
can be very, very mean, but stay away
Hmm.
from people that will discount you. Okay. Whether it be an intimate relationship or even friend circle. I've let friends go. I've let relationships go where they were just became divisive. And I said, hey, this isn't for me. They've said some things, broken promises, or were just being very adversarial. And I said, this relationship is no longer serving me. Because
Wow.
of that, I've spent more time alone. Okay.
Wow.
But the quality of people in my life is much higher now.
I spend a lot of my time alone now too. And
Yeah,
I will say that nobody hates from a place of above. Nobody hates from above, you know.
100%.
But dude, the thing you just said when you said they're not lying when in the sense that they fully believe that you won't make it. Like,
Yeah.
is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Like they're not just hating, like they really just don't see it in you. And that is actually such a eye-opening experience and an opportunity for you to see if they're right. And
Yeah.
they're not more often than not, because when you do take the steps to grow as a person, build a business, whatever, yes, you're walking in blind faith initially, but I believe God at some point does meet you halfway and carry you, once you generate your own momentum, though. That's what
Yeah.
you have to generate your own momentum first.
Oh yeah. God has never left me hanging.
Mhm,
I could tell you an abundance of stories, but
mhm,
my faith in God and Jesus Christ, when I literally will say things out loud
mhm.
or things are coming to a timeline, like, dude, I've had a fast before for a whole week just so I could feed my dog and not myself, right?
Oh my goodness.
There was one time where I was moving. I just got laid off from an advertising job in the middle of COVID. And I decided to ditch my apartment in Portland and move back to Denver because my buddy had an Airbnb. He was like, "Don't worry about rent. All my reservations were canceled. Come on back." That was definitely a godsend because he reached out to me literally an hour. He was like, "Hey, how's Portland going? I miss you. Come back to Denver." And I was like, "Well, guess what? I just got laid off." And they sort of
Wow.
gave me that thing. And I moved back and it wasn't ready for like a week. So I rented a U-Haul and I put my mattress in there. And me and my dog fucking slept in a U-Haul for like a week, right?
Wow. Wow.
So like moving back from Portland, Oregon to Denver and whatever, it took 3 days, saw some cool stuff, but I had just enough money for gas, not enough money for food. I got me and my dog back while I was building CK Collective. I built it overnight so that I could start marketing and whatever. That's a whole other podcast and story, but
Wow.
I remember praying to God multiple times a day and be like, help me land a client, help me, pay rent.
Wow.
And he bridged a gap for me multiple times. So when you're in that kind of situation, you'll never be let down. I
Mhm.
promise. you. Yeah.
This is insane because this is a direct reference to the book that you have had me read, which I
Yeah.
started to listen to, Advanced Energy Anatomy. I
Mhm.
think a couple of days ago, I had reached the part in the book where she said, do you think God's going to leave you hanging if you start to follow your divine purpose and like stuff gets scary, like you do lose a job,
Yeah.
do you really think God's going to leave you hanging? And I think that your friend messaging you an hour after you got laid off
It was crazy.
is so crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad that all worked out though. That's can't even imagine how stressful that would have been.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know our time's coming up and I gotta
No
go
problem.
pass off one of the dogs real quick. But
Okay.
dude, great podcast.
Thank
Okay.
you. If I ask you a question, I have one question to ask you, but I don't want it to be in the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
How do we do that?
Record a video. Just send that to me in our one-on-one WhatsApp chat. I'll end this podcast
Okay.
now for
Okay.
everyone listening. Mark,
Okay.
thanks for hopping on. Send me your social so I can include it in the description. And
Okay.
then send me your question right after the podcast. I'll record another video for you in our chat. But thanks for hopping on. This has been Three Questions Podcast, episode number 98.
Yeah.
And I'll see all of you guys soon. Mark, you want to say anything before we go?
I just wanted to say I'm so grateful to have been able to speak my thoughts, my humble opinions on everything. And I truly hope that you guys are going to benefit from what we talked about in this podcast. And thank you, Cameron, for having me on here, brother.
Awesome,
Appreciate
man.
it.
We'll do it again anytime soon. Okay, buddy?
Okay. Thank you,
All
man.
right. See you soon, man.
I'll see you, brother. See you.